It's Jess with Emotional Fire Academy here today to talk about time management for highly sensitive people. Now, this is part of the emotional first aid series, so we're going to dive into some really deep stuff today. And subscribe to my channel if you are a highly sensitive person and love to get tools, tips, and tricks about how to up-level your sensitivity. And who am I? I am Jess. I am your driver operator on this journey. I'm an emotion coach. I'm a master NLP practitioner, and I'm a former firefighter. So let's dive right in. This is good stuff. So this might go in a direction you're not anticipating, and that's okay. We're going to expand our minds a little bit today. So time is a concept like anything else, right? Time is just like Apple in terms of it's something that we learned as a concept. It's something that when we were small children that our parents taught us or our caregivers taught us or our teachers taught us. And so time as a concept, just like Apple or success is a concept, these are all things that we kind of construct in our own mind. We make this internal representation of what time is. And because of that, our experience of time is within our inner authority. So I talk about inner authority as kind of our self-concept, all of the beliefs, conclusions, thoughts that we have, that this umbrella concept, all this stuff that we feel about ourself that we believe to be true about the world. This is all contained within our self-concept, and the practice of gaining mastery over that and actually starting to take control of that experience is what I call gaining inner authority. And so time, your relationship with time as a concept, obviously is something that can cause great stress. And this seems to be a particularly sensitive point for highly sensitive people. This is, if you look up, any of the classic symptoms of being highly sensitive, having a reaction around time or dealing with deadlines or something, anything of that nature, there always seems to be one bullet point that refers to that. And I was always kind of curious about that. But when I kind of dove deeper into it, I'm like, that is one of the causes of overwhelm for highly sensitive people is their perception of time, how we perceive time, because we are hypervigilant. We tend to really pay attention to things, and time is one of those things we are taught to pay attention to. And so because you can think of a time when, or an instance in your life when you really wanted the time to go fast. Like if you're boiling a pot of eggs, you want that water to boil fast. And if you don't have anything else to do and you're standing there staring at that pot of water, getting it to boil, time feels like it stretches out for eternity, right? This is the sensation we get when we're in a job we hate. Time seems to go so slowly. But yeah, on the other hand, when we're doing things we love and we're in a flow state or we're spending time with someone we really care about, time goes like that. And so you may, if you think back on your experience in life, you may recall times or situations when time went really fast or really slow. And that was your experience of time based on the intentions that you had. You wanted it to go fast. You wanted it to go slower. And it kind of did the opposite by paying attention to it. And so, one of the causes of stress in pretty much everyone's life is our relationship with time and how we feel about time. And the conditioning that we receive as humans is to pay attention to time, right? There are so many sayings about time. There's only 24 hours in a day. I only have so much time. Time has run out, right? That's a common marketing scheme for people who are trying to pressure us into buying or taking an action. They will often add a time element. So all of this attention that is on time, we personify it too. It's like time is against me or time is on my side. All of these sayings, these are almost, they're very invasive in Western culture. And it's something that great emphasis is placed upon. It's something that being punctual is very important. Keeping to a schedule is very important. These things are kind of beat into us from an early age. And so it is hard to start recognizing that, okay, this is just a concept. It really doesn't matter what people have taught us about time. Our personal inner experience of what time is within our authority. We can control it. We can totally control this. And so this is where you start to get into the more esoteric beliefs of bending time, and actually manipulating time as a physical act. We're not going to go there quite yet. I might go there with you when we're all ready. But right now I want to focus on your actual experience of time. How long does an hour feel to you? How long does a day feel to you? How long does a week or a year feel inside? Because that's really our primary experience of our lives, is what's within us, right? Our inner world, our self-concept, and this inner world is really what is real for each of us. And so when we start taking control of that and start playing around with these concepts and loosening up some of the conditioning that we've received, we start to have a different experience of time. And so I want us to dive into that today. And so this is really what time management is, right? It's not just learning how to be better organized. It's actually shifting your emotional and mental, and sometimes if you get good enough at it, your physical experience of the passage of time. So this is pretty exciting. And when I started playing around with it, and I've only been playing around with it for a short time, I have noticed really, really incredible results. And and I don't, I'm not going to bullshit you. Like this is real stuff, and let's continue going deeper into these concepts. All right. As you can tell, I'm really excited to talk about this. So, we can start mastering, our experience of time. It's our concept of time is in our self-concept. We learned about it. It's, in a bubble, just like everything else, Apple, job, partner, whatever is in your bubbles, your beliefs, your conclusions, your thoughts. So let's start shifting it. So the first thing we want to do, there's kind of two steps. So let me go to, I haven't been referring to my board. Excuse me. So remember, time is a concept like anything else. And those common beliefs about time are what everyone thinks about time. We just kind of go with the status quo about, what everyone else thinks about time, that there's not enough time. It's just kind of like typical small talk for people. They always want to talk about, oh yeah, time is going so fast, or I can't believe it's already this month, or that the season is over, or that the summer's gone and winter's coming. And this is stereotypical small talk because it's assumed that everyone feels the same way about time. But when you start shifting it, you're going to start to have a different experience. So how do we change? So there's two things we do. The first thing we need to do is get curious about our sensation of time. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you some questions, and feel free to answer me out loud or in your mind, or just bring awareness to the answers to these questions. So I'm going to ask it, kind of think about your answer, and then I'll kind of give some examples of, things that might be popping up for you. So what is time for you? What is time exactly, as you understand it? Now, I'm not saying, there's 24 hours in a day and 365 days in a year. And what is time to you personally, to your inner experience? What is time? What does time mean to you? How do you describe your relationship with time? How do you interact with time? Now, you may feel like a victim of time, like time is a fixed entity. And you are, time is the master and you are the slave, so to speak. You have to like serve time, right? It's a fixed quantity and you are the variable, like whether or not you're on time, whether or not you're taking time or acting within time and space. So how would you describe your relationship with time? Now, how would your life be different if you had an infinite supply of time? What if everything I was saying was true? What if time is just a concept? And if you adjusted that concept, you could start to change your relationship with time. What if that were true? What if it were possible? You know, these are all really interesting things to start thinking about and start probing around and loosening up some of that conditioning that we've received. So what would happen if you mastered time? What would life feel like for you if you mastered time? If you had infinite time, if you never worried about time anymore, if you felt at ease with time and that you could affect your experience of time, what would life look like? What would be different about your life? What would be better? So these are some of the questions, and one of the mantras I've been practicing is I am timeless. Now, how does that feel to you? I am timeless. I am timeless. Wow, you really start thinking about, our perceptions of age and aging, and and having to organize your life around time, and having to, being a slave to time or a victim to time, and starting to step outside of that. I am timeless. I really like that affirmation, and I'm beginning to believe that I am timeless through practicing this stuff. Okay, so now that we've kind of got curious, we've started to explore our concepts of time, our idea of time, where our boundaries around time are, what the beliefs and the stories that we're subscribing to around time. The second part is to kind of bring in a tool or a technique that will then help us to practice something different, practice something new, introduce something fresh into the situation. And what I find helps with time is presence. Now, presence to me is complete focus on the present moment, right? It's putting all of your thoughts, your emotions, your attention onto exactly what you are doing in the moment. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but being completely there in mind, body, soul. Like, you are so there. Presence is a very powerful tool when starting to interact with time, because that is really when you start to change your experience with time. I do recommend you check out my video on highly sensitive person careers. I'll put the link above. But I talked about getting into flow states, especially when we're picking a career, because this is something that is going to take up a significant portion of our life. We want to pick something where we can easily get into a flow state with it, because that changes our interaction with time. And it changes our experience, right? Because if we're, being in a flow state in a career and really enjoying what you're doing and not getting enough of it versus looking at the clock, time is dragging by, hating life, feeling really bogged down by this commitment that you've made to a job, which is just a job. It's not like, there's a difference between those two energies. And so check out that video when you're finished watching this one on time. So presence is a tool that we're going to use. And obviously we also have to work from a certain belief. So I'm asking you now, are you willing to believe that you can affect your experience of time? Now, I'm not asking you to go all the way to, I can bend time, I'm a time traveler, I'm a master time manipulator. You don't have to go there quite yet, right? Because we have to build the evidence first to get to that strong of a belief. So we start with something that is plausible, that feels plausible to us, that feels realistic, and that is the belief that we start with, that we start working with. And the belief, again, I can affect my personal experience of time. Can you subscribe to that belief? Do you believe it is true? And starting with that is the best place to start. And even if you're not quite there, you could say, I'm willing to try experimenting with time. I am willing to start, to start playing around with time. I'm willing to explore my own concepts of time. These are also kind of a step down from, I believe that I can affect my own personal experience of time. And if you're not quite there to that point, let me remind you again, go watch a pot of water try to boil, because you'll sense how long it takes and how tedious it feels. You are stretching out time in that experience. You're actively affecting your relationship with time and your sensation of time by putting yourself in that situation. So I think that's a great example of, okay, maybe I can believe I can affect my personal experience of time. I can go watch paint dry and see how long time feels to drag by. So I think hopefully we're on all the same page here. So we're going to start small when we're starting to play with time and experiment with our experience of time. We're going to start small. We're going to stay humble. We are not going to jump to, I can bend time. I'm a time traveler quite yet, but we can get there. So what you want to do is pick, what I've been doing is I started with house chores. So when I had kind of a block of time that I could play with, that I didn't have, any huge consequences to making a mistake or, just allowing the learning process to continue, I started telling myself, okay, I've gotten a relaxed state. I'm doing the chore. I'm being completely present in the chore. I'm just giving it my full attention. I'm not worrying about time. I'm not looking at the clock. And I tell myself that I'm going to finish this chore at 9:20. I will be done with this chore, and I feel it in my body, like, oh, this is a given. Like I'm going to be done with this at 9:20 exactly. 9:20 a.m. I will be done with this. Not thinking about time, not thinking about, oh, I better, scrub the toilet faster. I better clean faster in order to serve time. I am feeling in my body this confidence, and I am totally confident in my experience of time. There are no negative consequences if I don't get this right. Releasing that resistance to making a mistake or, And so in doing that, even if you didn't, you set this point in time that's in the future, like I'm going to be finished at this time, you can stretch the time out where you actually can get more done in that time than you thought was possible. What I've been doing lately is stretching out time when I have, let's say I have an hour and I want to go sit at the park, and I want that hour to feel like forever. I want it to be refreshing and long and lazy. Like I can just take the time I need. Like there's no rush. I'm not looking at my watch to make sure the hour is over. And I've been having great experiences where I have dragged out time to really be in this space of complete presence and self-care, doing something that I really enjoy doing. And then an hour feels like 2 or 3. We get the same experience in an hour of feeling that there's no time pressure. So, and again, my main points are, don't look at the clock. Don't look at the clock while you're doing this. That's one of the big ones, because then you're telling yourself, oh, I have to check in with time. No, you are in control of time. Don't look at the clock. Stay in a relaxed state. Know that you're confident that I can affect my experience. I'm going to milk this experience with my presence. I'm going to draw this out and make it feel amazing and longer than an hour normally feels to me. And see what you can do with time. It's really incredible. It's a really cool skill. So let me know, did you try this technique? Comment below. Let me know how your experience went, and I can help you troubleshoot if you had any issues. And if you are a stressed out, highly sensitive person who wants to start shifting some of your concepts and evolving to the next level, check out my Flammable to Fireproof program. It is a 3-month journey to become a highly sensitive hotshot. So thanks for watching. Go have fun with time, my friends. Bye.